South Bend City Council, February 26th to 2024.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Do we have any items from the public tonight?
Maybe.
Maybe? What you got?
I'm in charge of the variance committee. And we got one member on there that I don't think he qualifies anymore. Doesn't own any property in South Bend, doesn't live here. So I'm wondering how we go about replacing that person.
That actually is not a stipulation, believe it or not, that you have to live within city limits to be on the Board of Adjustments.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can look into it and see. I'm not sure when his term is up, but we'll take a look at it.
Does he show up for meetings?
No,
He didn't come to the last one or two, I
he
guess.
hasn't been the last 2 or 3.
Yeah. So, but we'll look at it.
But there was another person who lives in town, had some interest.
Okay,
in being on the board, so.
okay. Yeah,
Are there any vacancies that we already have on there?
not on the Board of Adjustments. It's, oh, sorry, just on the Planning Commission, there's one, and we just advertised for that. So
Is the Board of Adjustments the same as the variance? Because he's talking about.
That's
he's talking about Board of Adjustments.
Oh,
and
okay,
The
yeah.
Planning Commission is the one that has the opening right now. Yeah. So, and we have advertised for that. It should be in this week's paper.
Should be in this week's paper,
Yeah.
next week. It's on our website and on Facebook.
Mhm. Yeah.
So anybody interested just needs to send a letter of interest to the mayor.
Yep. Okay, any other items tonight? Okay, we're gonna move forward. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda, and the minutes from February 12th, 2024. I think it's my cursor.
Second.
Do you see a hand up still?
On the screen over there, but that's not you.
Some 10, whether that is.
I think it's just their cursor,
I think
maybe.
it's not, I don't see it. It might be the cursor for
That computer, I bet, yeah. Because usually the hands when they go up are yellow. Yeah, it's the back cursor for that other screen. Okay, thank you, Will. All right, so did we get a motion in a second?
Who motioned?
I,
Patricia.
You moved and Wyatt
Right.
seconded? Okay, is there any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Did we have any correspondence?
No.
No. Okay, move on to ordinance number 1597. And this is to correct some language in the water ordinance. This is the first reading. We weren't sure if it required a first or second since rates weren't changing, only wording was changed, but we thought, well, to be on the safe side, we'll put it on a first and a second because we just weren't sure. So anyway, you want to go over the
Yeah,
couple
so
changes
I
over
gave
there?
you guys some new copies because I wasn't sure. I had emailed out this afternoon. There was some on the first page in section 2, under 2, there was another correction that needed to be made. The math was incorrect in the example portion, which I highlighted. So now it is correct. The service charge hadn't been updated from when this new $50, and then which then also changed that 12 times 14 amount. And then there was an error in the gallons, the 67,500 gallons. That was not correct for 15 ERUs. So that was all changed. And then under section 12, under section 2:12 now, that's where it was kind of confusing, the language. So we added monthly and took out for, added following to hope that would clarify it. So, I just ask if that does clarify then what it was trying to get across.
Yes, to me.
Okay. So yeah, so if that, and those were the only changes.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to move it to the second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, while I'm thinking of it, I also want to say that Counselor Williams is excused for the
Right.
meeting tonight. So ordinance 1598, and this is to amend the regulations of animals fowl within the city of South Bend. This is the first reading, and I'm gonna ask Chief Stegall to discuss this a little bit.
So this came about after, we've had a few incidents over the last 2 years of dog bites. And our ordinance, I didn't feel like it was up to date. I didn't think that it had the teeth in it that we needed it to have. I did some research with MRSC. I got examples of other municipal agencies and found out that one of the things that we didn't have were restrictions and requirements put on potentially dangerous dogs where other cities did. So for instance, in our city, if a dog bit somebody and it didn't meet the criteria of a dangerous dog bite, the only thing we could do would be label the dog potentially dangerous, but not make them keep it in an enclosure or, follow some other criteria. So I updated it to where a potentially dangerous dog, you would be required to have a proper enclosure with markings on it. Your current vaccination records have to be on file with the city, and a current photo of the dog has to be on file with the city. So the only difference between a potentially dangerous dog and a dangerous dog now is the insurance bond that you have to have. So that was already a requirement with our code. If your dog is a dangerous dog, you have to have a $250,000 insurance liability bond. So that's the only difference between potentially dangerous and dangerous. But now we actually have something that we can go after people on a first time offense where if their dog bites somebody, we can say, okay, it is a potentially dangerous dog and you have to do these things. The other thing I'm asking is raise the fees for animal license. As far as I know, as long as I've been here, animal license haven't went up. So and there's no reason at all, I just chose to go up $5 per license. We did also include a potentially dangerous dog license is $100, and a yearly. And then the dangerous dog is $500. That was already in place. Some other minor verbiage changes, but essentially that's it.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Under section 2, number 14, household pets means any dogs, cats, rabbits, ducks, geese, pigeons, blah, 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 blah. There's no mention of snakes. Some people keep snakes, and snakes can be very dangerous. If they get out, they can kill a little baby.
There is something in our code about,
There's something about invertebrates way down.
yeah. And wild animals.
Yeah,
I mean, I never had a call about snake, so
all right.
yeah.
And item number 24. I just feel, and this is just me personally, that raccoons should be one of the first things listed, since that's what people around here seem to want to feed and treat as a
Well,
pet,
And deer too.
and deer.
Where are you at for that?
Number
Under
24,
definitions,
number 24,
Oh, I'm looking at section 24.
section 2, item 24. I would just like to, and that's where the poisonous reptile or serpents are.
Yeah, we do have
We have raccoons,
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
probably
them.
not a bad thing to add in there.
I would like to just see it right up front because it's so prevalent around here.
Here, that's where you have your poisonous reptiles.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Or serpent.
There's a woman
Pretty
on,
broad, anything as well.
there's a woman on Kendrick, I guess that's the name of the street that we turn out.
Harrison.
Harrison, sorry, yeah, that had a whole family that she was,
Waiting for her to get out of the truck.
yeah, yeah.
So you wanna add the word raccoon in that list?
I personally would like to.
There's already in section 14, harboring or feeding wild, vicious, or dangerous animals. Section 14, number 5, no person shall knowingly feed or willingly supply food to any wild
Oh, yeah,
animal or
right.
free fowl, including but not limited to raccoons, possums, skunks, foxes, pigeons, and stuff.
Right,
So it's already in there, the raccoon is specified, in
Mhm.
addition to any other wild animal that would be defined under the
Okay,
definition.
that's fine with me,
So if we get a complaint, we would address it
okay.
about people feeding raccoons.
And then, under the dangerous animal, I think it would item somewhere, let me see, I thought 18, number 18 down here. Where is number 18?
Are you still in the definitions? Potentially dangerous dog?
Must be potentially dangerous dogs. It says about provoking. Now, some people that own dogs think that if another dog barks at their dog and they do something, that dog was provoked. But I think it's pretty clear that provoking means a trespasser or somebody intending to do harm. So that's probably okay, as long as, well, that dog provoked my dog. Well, that's what animals do. It's just up to the owner to keep control.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
that's all I wrote down.
I was gonna ask, do we have a place to take the dogs now for
We do.
their 72 hours?
It's a temporary solution still. The one person who has volunteered us she's allowed us to put kennels at her house. And that's where we can take animals. But we need a permanent solution. We actually need one countywide, North countywide, the sheriff's office, Raymond, and South Bend. But for now, this temporary place is working for South Bend and Raymond. But
Now, does the article in here about licensing, and because we just bought a license today. And it says that you have to present proof of rabies vaccination when you get the license.
if
Is that enforced?
No, so what my understanding from what I read in here is a normal dog license, when you come in, you basically, we take your word for it, that the dog is up to date on his vaccines. But if it is labeled a potentially dangerous or dangerous dog, we have to have a copy of that in order for us to even issue you that license.
Okay,
So
I'm not sure it says that.
I read it.
I thought I saw that somewhere.
Basically, you just have to
So you do take,
notify the city that your dog is vaccinated.
okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I sent Dawn down with Gina's signed certification letter.
Yeah, the only time that we're gonna require that we see it is if it is already a dangerous or
Okay.
potentially dangerous dog.
All right.
Okay, anyone else, anything? All right, I would entertain a motion to move ordinance 1598 to a second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, spring cleanup discussion. Are we gonna have spring cleanup again this year?
Does so.
Well, it's
Do we
a
have-
discussion. It's,
Do we have money?
have to decide on every year. It's not
Oh.
automatic. We have to choose to do it.
Do we have the
So-
money to do it? What's it
I-
usually cost?
I had meant to look up what we had
It's
paid
about
last year.
$3,000, I
Yeah,
think, if I
And
remember right.
I got caught up in payroll and didn't, and it slipped my mind, so, but it is, yeah, between, I think, $2,500 to $3,000.
And that comes out of the mosquito fund or, no, it comes off the,
No,
just the general fund?
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
It's, I think the citizens are expected every year, don't they? It's
They
pretty
do.
well used.
we've had already questions about it, that's why we added it to the agenda, so.
And I think it kind of lends itself to helping keep things cleaner.
Yeah,
It does.
as long as they don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And they don't, and they have to pay, like, if they, this goes out to people, and Kim does a good job of saying that, you'll have to pay the fee if it's something larger, and,
concrete blocks,
yeah, yeah.
stuff
ma-
like that.
Yeah, and mattresses and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, there are some disallowed options. Okay, do we need to pick a date, or do you want the office to just pick a date?
Oh, I thought it was picked. I read.
Oh,
Well,
did you
we-
already pick one?
We do, we try, so we actually contact,
Oh, okay.
the dump
There
and
it
find
is.
out, because we try to work with Raymond, because we try not to have it at the same time, obviously, and give him space between one end or the other. So usually we work with him, and I don't know if Kim, this is when we had it last year.
Yeah.
So, it's usually about that same time, so, but she usually checks with him to make sure he's there, nothing's going, and he usually gives us kind of a timeline, and then we just
Mhm.
pick. That's what we've done before.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that we had a date set yet. This is last year's.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right. So,
Did somebody make a motion?
yeah, so we just need a motion to hold spring cleanup.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, move on, department head reports. Chief Siegel.
Alright. I did have, Friday. Was it Friday?
Yeah.
I had an officer involved in a collision. He was driving my truck, unfortunately, but he is okay, and it wasn't his fault. So, we're working on getting estimates and trying to get the truck repaired, but right now I'm one vehicle down.
Oh,
And I still have 2 trucks on order,
and your lights are so cool
and
too.
yeah, but, we still don't even have a scheduled build date for our new trucks, so.
Hmm.
Yeah. But we'll get through, we're making it work.
Okay, Supervisor Howe?
I just have one item basically, is just FYI, I met with the engineers and a couple of folks at the Timberland Library, and they're going over the structural end of that project down there, so, they're gonna go into design now, they got some additional information, and hopefully by end of summer, we should have progress on that and be going out to bid. So, it's basically the steps out front, drainage, either outside or inside the footing, and then, replacing the stucco on the backside. So,
The stairs is a big deal.
yeah. Other than that, that's all.
I have a couple things to bring up. They're, traffic type related things. Is this a good time to do it with Dennis?
Sure.
I was asked a couple times if there could be a pedestrian crossing between the drugstore and the grocery store, even just X's on the street. Because there isn't really enough room to pull into the drugstore and to have someone coming out at the same time, so people are held up in the street waiting for the person coming out of the drugstore on, by the grocery store. And so even making that one way from the drugstore, where are we, straight this way. So if you come into the drugstore, you enter out at the post office. So there's less congestion.
Well, yeah, and people pulling in the wrong way, and the Pioneer is a big one.
Right, because that
too.
line,
It's just-
the line's gone now, kind of.
It doesn't matter if the line's there or not.
It
Well,
does.
I can remember way back when I lived in the lumber exchange building, they put the line in. That was the first time that I'd seen it, and I think it was Newton, was he the
Probably.
chief then? And he really got out there and enforced it, but after a while, nobody paid any attention. So that was one thing, and a lot of people, park at the grocery store, they walk to the drugstore, they
Yeah.
park at the drugstore, they walk over, and there's just, seems to be just this kind of accident waiting to happen there. So that was one thing, and the other thing is a couple people have asked me if we could paint a pedestrian walkway up to the hospital. So like on Alder Street, when you're going up the hill, just an area like you would for a bike lane for pedestrians to walk in. Because there's a lot of people that walk up and down that hill. And, they walk to the right, but the cars,
Yeah. it's-
drive on the edge there.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we could designate an area like a bike lane or, a pedestrian
Yeah, I don't think that would
area,
be
just.
a big deal, really.
But I just kind of want you to keep an eye out at the, the Pioneer and the drugstore area and see if, if that's a good idea or
Wasn't
not.
there a,
Yeah, being a one-way up, it shouldn't be too hard to do.
wasn't there a legal reason why there couldn't be a crosswalk in the middle of it?
Of a block like that, I'm not sure on that one.
Okay,
I'd
alright.
have to check into that.
I almost had an accident going out of the Pioneer driveway onto Willapod. And it's a good thing that I had stopped because this kid on a skateboard didn't even slow down or look. And I mean, he was just right in front of me,
Yeah.
just didn't even look. I don't know what to do about that.
Strange thing too, like there's a crosswalk down Chester, and rather than walk 15 or 20 feet over the crosswalk, they bomb right across from their door.
Mhm.
And, it's like that everywhere, even though you put a crosswalk in, they're gonna walk right out of the door and cross the street,
Yeah.
So, I don't know, we'll definitely look into it and see whatever you guys wanna do.
We had talked at one point about putting those bendable stand-up
Yeah.
barriers
Yeah.
so that people couldn't turn in from the other lane into Pioneer.
I still say that's a good idea,
Yeah.
but,
Jersey barrier.
but then, put a concrete Jersey barrier there, that was it.
Anyway, that's what I had. So,
Mayor, while you're on the subject, there's another danger spot from right by Bud's, coming from the cannery going over the old bowling alley. People are walking across
Oh, yeah.
there.
Well, there's a crosswalk.
there's a crosswalk there.
Well, it's not very bright.
No, it's
I
not.
wonder if there's something else could be put up there.
We've looked into
Maybe
it,
it's
it's washed out.
dot and stuff.
Yeah.
It's-
We can't give jaywalking tickets?
There's a
There's
crosswalk
a
there.
crosswalk.
There's-
No, I mean, going to the Chester, cause I make Dawn go up to.
There's actually a piece of
Up to the
legislation
crosswalk.
right now that is in works
There's a lot of talk about
to
jaywalking.
do
Yeah.
away with jaywalking, to make
Yeah.
it not a crime anymore,
Yeah,
so,
Well,
yeah.
when somebody gets killed.
That's Waspic's argument, is that what's gonna prevent, but anyway, that's a.
Yeah.
we were all trained to walk to the corner and go across,
Yeah.
as kids,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
there's no such
You always
training
use a
anymore.
crosswalk.
They do it at school, they
Yeah.
just cross wherever and,
Yeah, exactly, look both ways.
yeah.
All right, is that it, Dennis?
That's all I had.
All right, clerk treasurer Soa.
I just wanted to, make you guys aware of, so I had talked to you a while back that we were doing that, cybersecurity stuff with AWC, and it's through a company called BC3. So you guys will start getting, some emails, and you should have gotten one, what was it, maybe not last week, but the week before. It's, training at Bullfish, which is BULLPHISH. They're like 2-minute trainings, And if you just click on the email and can watch those, it's really quick. There's a little quiz afterwards, but that helps then also, it's really good information about fishing and different things, but it also, satisfies the cybersecurity requirement of AWC. So, you know, like before you guys have done the training and stuff, this then takes place of that. So just to be aware, I don't know how often they come out. Maybe, I don't know if they're every couple weeks or just once a month. I don't think I was told that. I did mine, and like I said, it was less than 2 minutes. So if you, like I said, can just watch for those and do them when you get a chance. And the email should come from training@Bullfish. So
That's not what you, what's the one you just sent? this
that
evening?
was on a separate thing. I just was sending out an email to beware to not open some emails from 2 different emails, but there was
Okay.
a
Alright.
thing that happened this afternoon. So
Reach.
breach. So that's all I have.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot. I went to Mayor's Exchange and it was a nice day to get to visit with 49 other mayors in the room and talk about common issues and problems that we're all having. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up was that, by the time we have our next meeting, the legislative session is supposed to have ended. And so we should know if there's anything big coming out to affect cities. I don't see anything in the works that's too huge at this point that's gonna affect us too much, but we'll see what makes it through to the end, as long as they close on time. So, do we have any public comments regarding our current agenda items? Does not appear that we do. Okay, and so let's move on to council comments. Councilor Davis.
I've spoken.
Okay, Councilor Corcoran.
I'm good.
Councilor Manlow.
Nothing.
Councilor Piken.
Golden.
Everybody's good. Do we have any future agenda topics? All right, we're adjourned. Thanks everyone for attending.